Welcome back to the channel. What's up, fam? How are you guys doing today? Welcome back to Tommy Bites TV and Homestead. So it is a lot going on. When I say that New York is facing this state of emergency, they do have declarations in place, but they're facing this, and I just want to know, why y'all still doing it? If you know you have run out of space, why are you doing that? But if you're looking for a way to get free food, free clothes, free rent, free education, free everything, all you need to be is a migrant.
I've been giving you the worst. Now you wanna stay tonight.
That's what's happening. And the audacity for those who are fleeing violence, who are fleeing terrible situations. And my prayers go out to you. But if you're fleeing those areas, why do you have the audacity to open your mouth and say that the United States is not doing enough? They're not protecting you and your family. Why is that? Do you feel like all Americans get the items that you are getting for free? Because we do not. We have homeless veterans. We have homeless mothers who probably would love to have a place to stay, food to eat, clothes for their kids, schooling, all of those things. Let's get into it. These migrants were sent from the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan. In Manhattan, y'all, okay? That's what they're used to. So now, ever since they have gotten here, they have received food, clothes, shelter, place to live. They've also gotten their kids enrolled in school, and they are working jobs. Now, I don't know how they got the documents to do all the things that they did, if they're still considered asylum seekers, meaning they have not gotten that paperwork in order to remain here. Not sure what's happening, but that's what's happening. And the fact that 20 families went to this shelter.
Welcome back. The first group of asylum seekers to arrive at the temporary shelter at Floyd Bennett Field right there, they were outraged today by what they found there. As News 12's Shakti Dennis reports, many of them left the site within just minutes.
The first bus carrying about a dozen migrant families, including many children, arrived at the temporary shelter at Floyd Bennett Field early this afternoon.
Now, while I do understand that when you are homeless, you don't have the luxuries that you may want or may used to have before you got in a situation you are in. But to my understanding, my knowledge, they came from nothing. They came for a better life for their children. And to be picky the way that they are, well, if I'm not staying at the Roosevelt Hotel or one of those fine hotels downtown, I'm not staying in this shelter. That's what's happening
to this bus.
Not long after arriving at the former airfield, the group walked out of the bus they came in on and went straight into another city bus that was waiting outside the gates.
20 families went to this shelter, and this shelter was at the Floyd Bennett. It's owned by the government. It was U.S. Air Force Base, and yes, it does come with some issues, but that's all they have. They don't have anything left, they say. The fact that you would walk through the facility and turn around, get ready to get back on the bus before you give your report, your opinion to the news people out there that, hey, this ain't fair. They tricked us to get us to leave that hotel. They got us out here. There's nothing out here. My kids go to school in Manhattan. How am I going to get them to school in Manhattan? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Y'all, this is too much.
like this. It's impossible. My kids go to school in Manhattan. How am I supposed to bring my 4 kids to Manhattan?
Several of them told us they work in the Bronx and had been staying at the Roosevelt Hotel. They say they were offered to be moved to a shelter, but now feel they've been tricked.
They didn't tell us where we were going. They just said, get into this bus.
Not long after arriving at the former airfield, the group walked out of the bus they came in on and went straight into another city bus that was waiting outside the gates.
Also, when you are homeless, yeah, you're going to give up those luxuries that you used to have. And if you never had them, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. My heart goes out to those families, the ones that have children and stuff like that. But if someone is trying to give you a roof over your head, I don't think you should be picky about that. I really don't, unless it is truly a hellhole. I don't think you should be picky about that.
They send those single men who've been staying in a hotel for 2 or 3 years here. How are they going to send someone with 4 kids?
A number of elected officials and community groups have strongly opposed the plan to house hundreds of asylum seekers at Floyd Bennett Field. Their main concerns have been the high risk of flooding and the lack of access to essential services.
It is dangerous for them.
The move came as the city is running out of space to house more than 65,000 migrants in their care. In a statement, every possible corner of New York City and are quite simply out of good options to shelter migrants. This is why we continue to call for meaningful help. Assemblywoman Jamie Williams had a similar plea to the governor.
Open up the rest of the state. Take this burden off of the city. Stop using the mayor as a scapegoat and playing pawn with people's lives.
Sources in the mayor's office told us that the migrants who refused to stay at the airfield today had to sign a release form and were told that this if they changed their minds, as this is the only available place for them at this time. But for many of those we spoke to today, that's simply not an option.
They shouldn't do this. This is mean. Put your hand on your heart.
Inside that white tent, but we haven't seen any activity. Now, the first group of migrants arrived on the bus yesterday. Once they got inside and saw the conditions, they decided to leave. Some of those families told us this is not the place to raise children. They also said their kids attend school in the city, so being this far doesn't make any sense. Now, we reached out to the mayor's office and they told us more than 100,000 migrants have gone through their intake from spring 2020, 50,000 migrants in their care, and more continue to arrive. They say there's no more options for shelters, and they used every possible place throughout the city. Now, sources with the mayor's office told us that the migrants that did leave had to sign a release form, and they were given transportation to go off-site. Those migrants also know there's nowhere else for them to go, but the shelter will remain open if they decide to come back.
So, of course, we have a lot of activists and legal aid out there, and they're saying how this area is not safe for, you know, children and mothers and stuff, and the bathrooms are outside and you got to go outside to the bathroom, and what if this and what if that. I need this same effort shown to homeless women and children who actually are citizens of the United States. I need that same attention shown to them. I need that same $20 million that is taking to take care of the migrants to be given to the veterans, to be given to the homeless mothers. I don't understand the thinking behind it all. So I'm going to read a little bit of what this article say. I'm going to show you a little bit of videos and stuff like that. And I'm going to give you my opinion. I want you to get in the comments and give me yours. Please be respectful and all of that. I'm not saying I don't have a heart. I don't want these people to be, you know, just out here in the cold. That's not what I'm saying. But they're given an opportunity and they're squandering the opportunity because it doesn't meet what they want. I mean, just imagine, it's almost like you're offering someone a place to live. They came in from out of town and you say, hey, I got this small room. You know, you're welcome to stay here until you get yourself together or whatever you got to do. And they get there and they see the room and they go, well, this is unacceptable. I need, you know, better accommodations than this. The audacity of it. That's how I'm looking at it. Okay. And the problem is not going to be fixed by continuing to allow more and more migrants into the United States, and especially into New York, who say that they don't have any more room. This is the last thing that they have, which is this Air Force base, which they said does have some kind of flooding issues, but that's all they have. That is all they have. So I believe in helping people. I truly, truly do. But this has become ridiculous. So at what cost do we realize that helping someone constantly is keeping them from helping themselves, or making them to the point where they think you have to do this for them? Okay. You're doing something out of the kindness of your heart. You see, families that are struggling. You see whatever you see in that individual. You decide to help them. But everything you do is not good enough. That's what's happening. And they're continuing to allow more and more and more and more into the United States, to the point where these open borders, we don't know who's coming through the open borders. We have states that are on high alert because we don't know who all is here. And people are forming groups against the United States. And attacks have been said about to take place, whether it be cyber or physical. We have to draw the line. We have to figure something out. And I don't think that continuing to allow people in when you don't have space for them is the right thing to do. Now, y'all can let me know down in the comments. Do you think that we need to close our borders? Or do we need to send people back? If they're not happy with the accommodations that they have, especially, then they need to go back home. Let me know what you think down in the comments.
I've been giving you the worst.